My friends, my family, brothers and sisters, listen to what I have to say to you. Our white neighbors are in a time of great turmoil. They argue and debate and struggle over the direction that America will pursue. I know that many of you would prefer to leave well enough alone, as I would, but this matter deserves our attention and presence. The proposed policies of American imperialism are unacceptable, and the fruition of it impermissible. Many American politicians believe that to continue expanding this massive country we share, we must find new markets overseas. To achieve this, it is suggested that America must pursue a policy of imperialism. The Spanish-American War changed the public opinion of interventionism. The war whet the appetite for power and growth, like a wolf cub introduced to flesh. Politicians like Albert Beveridge and Theodore Roosevelt claim that it is the destiny of America to expand, that it is America's only way to find new markets. Expansion of markets may sound nice, but the methods required to build an empire are dark and grisly, methods that have left us burnt and bleeding. To take you back through our history. Long have we lived on this land, filled with wonders and beauty. Peace with nature brought happiness to our people, and all was good. In time, however, the settlers came. The benefits of their arrival were many: new culture, new food, an exotic form of spirituality became a choice we could choose to embrace. Unfortunately, the detriments of their companionship were far greater. The settlers brought evil diseases that swept away entire tribes like feathers in the wind. The settlers sold the land which we walked upon like a simple commodity. The settlers took the peace and love we share with nature from us, with their fire, muskets, and swords. Respect was traded with contempt and belligerence. The Americans built themselves a powerful nation, surely, but left little room for us. Do not misunderstand me. I do not stand here to upset you and to anger you, but to simply remind you of the injustices that we have suffered at the hands of these white Americans. Would you wish that fate upon any other people? Our culture has long prided itself on being generous and caring. Would we not be tarnishing our good spirit if we leave America to subjugate entire nations to their will, to assimilate them into a bland, colorless colony? Let us be honest with ourselves. Despite what American politicians tell the public, taking a land like the Philippines is not meant to be some courteous gesture of patronage. It is in fact a strength of its navy. Now, America has rebuilt its fleet, purchased Hawaii, and seeks to liberate the Philippines. What an odd coincidence. I would not be so blunt as to ask the purpose of expanding our economy. I would also not ask the value of Oriental trade. However, I will ask, at what cost? No matter the benefits, leaving the Philippines broken is unethical. And without doubt, we should not idly witness the breaking. I take you to the words of the American Senator Albert Beveridge.
It is a noble land that God has given us. It is a mighty people that he has planted on the soil. A people sprung from the most masterful blood of history.
These words, if any, should convince you all of the importance of this cause. The words of this vile man are filled with disrespect and ignorance. Sadly, there is more to this man's senselessness. Senator Beveridge states that all of those outside of civilized society are incapable of governing themselves and must therefore be taken care of by America.
We govern the Indians without their consent. We govern our territories without their consent. We govern our children without their consent. Would not the people of the Philippines prefer the just, humane, civilizing government of this republic to the savage, bloody rule of pillage and extortion from which we rescued them?
The irony of this man's ideas would be laughable, if not so dangerous. How can government without consent possibly be more humane than any other local government? So many years ago, was it not the Americans fighting for self-government? Was it not the Americans who asked us, so-called savage Indians, to help remove the British government? The words of this senator reek of childish naivety, and perhaps most frighteningly, his words are winning public approval. I do not believe that all of our white brethren are so terribly misguided. In fact, if we should fight against this imperialist uprising, we would not be alone. Prominent Americans have entrenched themselves in the fight for true democracy. Many believe that a policy of imperialism would tarnish our nation's character, like blood on an eagle's brow. Men such as William Jennings Bryan, who believes that America, known as the land of liberty and freedom, would be unjust to subjugate others. Bryan believes that this is indeed a time of temptation. Are we to be likened to the trickster who is the character of many names and many Aboriginal nations? Will we ignore all boundaries and use trickery like Coyote of the Ojibwe people to achieve a goal despite it being wrong and outside the realms of morality? Like the stories of our people, will we, like the tricksters, suffer the consequences of our actions for time immemorial? Will we succumb to such temptation or fight against our weaker nature? Temptation is a danger that we have fallen prey to recently. We used to fight to change American politics, to make our voices heard. The Jackson presidency left us bruised and battered, and we retreated into our communities like shells, and we haven't emerged since. The time has come for change. America has found itself at a crossroads. Imperialism on one path and isolationism on the other. If America builds itself an empire, lives will be taken, cultures will be irreparably damaged, and hate will be bred, all for the sake of money and greed. It does not have to be this way. If we involve ourselves in this matter, as in the traditional teachings of our elders who have taught us, we will be making good decisions for 7 generations in the future. May these words be heard in the 4 directions. Miigwech, 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 miigwech.